What's up, everybody? It is Talking Cleveland Tuesday. Yes, I cut my hair. I don't look like a hippie anymore, at least a half bald one at that. You are welcome for changing the eye appeal for you this week. Super excited about our guest tonight, Nick Karns, a great Browns fan, a diehard, someone on here that can relate to, the life of being a Browns fan, but also help paint a pretty picture of what game day's like in Cleveland and what the city of Cleveland really is to a lot of Browns and sports fans out of Cleveland area. And what a time it is right now to be alive, to be a Cleveland sports fan in general. Guardians going to the playoffs. Browns, a lot of buzz around them, good and bad. But at the end of the day, they're still in the playoff race early on and tied for first place. And, the Cavs trade for Donovan Mitchell. It's like the first time in a long time that all three Cleveland sports teams are really, really solid. And it's good times. But first, our sponsors for tonight. Always we got the three amigos right out of Ohio. Anybody watching this, please give them some love and support. Affordable prices, no price gouging here. We wouldn't promote anything that's going to break the bank. But first, all the shots brought to you by Cleveland Whiskey. We love Cleveland Whiskey. The Cleveland Whiskey Christmas Bourbon Series is out right now with the 3 limited Hall of Fame bottles. Super excited about that. And if you're not a Christmas bourbon guy, don't forget about the classic Wheat Penny or the Black Reserve. It's got Cleveland right down the bottle. It's the most Cleveland thing ever. And yes, it's actually good. I drink it as like my daily. It's amazing. Also, Branch Barbecue. It's barbecue, it's ranch. It's delicious right out of Lakewood, Ohio. But also don't forget about the award-winning Fieldhouse Mustard. It's delicious to put on like a game day brat or a hot dog. Up there in the Muni lot, throwing down on there, you get you a nice little jar of mustard. It is in a glass jar, so don't give it to the drunk guy at the party because it will break, and that guy will be in trouble. So, and also Redbeard Seasoning. It's out of the home of Charlie Fry, Willard, Ohio. Whole new look, same great flavors. The pork rub is amazing. The new wild game rub, it's deer season. The wild game rub is delicious on your venison. And my favorite combo on pulled pork, street corn, Ohio pork, and honey chipotle. Go check out redbeardseasonings.com. The Dude Network will save you 10% off. And now to our show. Very excited to bring this guest on. Ladies and gentlemen, a diehard. I'm not sure if he's married or not, but if he's married or has a girlfriend, she's very lucky because she's got a very loyal man in this guy because he indeed is a Browns fan. He's cooler than I am. Happy to have him part of the show. Like all the other guests, he probably has never watched another show, or he probably wouldn't have done it. But here he is, Nick Karns. What's up, dude?
Hey, Tony. You know what? Going through those sponsors, I'll tell you what. For the opening week, we had a chance to be at Platform Brewery where Branch Barbecue was cooking.
Yeah, they're up there all the time.
Yeah, so I had a chance to meet Chris, who runs a lot of that with Branch, and I can personally endorse because I got to try their food. It is wonderful.
There we go. Yeah, actually, they got some Platform beer in the cherry peach sauce. The cherry peach barbecue. Yeah, it's delicious. Okay. All right, hey, look at this. I knew I brought you on for a reason, man. Hey, good for you. And that's the show, folks. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. So, Nick, man, tell us a little about yourself, man. I have a little bit more of a nationwide platform as well as a good reach of the Browns fans here. But, you're really big. You're in the podcast scene here in the Cleveland Browns. Like, how long have you been doing it? Opportunity to, give a quick description of who you are and why the hell I brought you on here and not just some guy I've met on at Walmart.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, Tony. I really appreciate the opportunity. I love talking about the Browns. I love talking Cleveland sports and just everything surrounding it. So all this stuff we spent a lot of time trying to get this together. And so I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. It's been a blast and it's a good labor. A lot of practice on this
one. But you asked kind of how I started. You know what? I think so for a long time while I was in school, I had a locked account and I just kind of watched conversation on Twitter about the Browns because, most people in my life get kind of fed up with me wanting to talk sports. And so I just needed another place to go to find other people that wanted to talk about it as much as I did. And so, yeah, I was on Twitter and I was kind of looking at it. And one day I was like, okay, I'm going to unlock my account. I'm going to start joining because I realized I thought at first that like Twitter and like all that stuff was basically for like real official reporters and that kind of stuff and not just regular people.
No.
But I learned quickly, that we all get, and Browns Twitter is such a community. There's so many people that I have met, and including doing something like this, Tony, like Browns Twitter has brought us together and given us this opportunity.
It's a factual statement. Here we are.
Yeah.
Look at us.
So, yeah. And right at the tail end of the Hugh Jackson era, I started, I unlocked and I just started tweeting. So I basically would say I've been doing this since, for the majority of the time, like Freddie Kitchens and forward. And I don't know, man. I just
all the time.
Yeah, that was certainly something. But I just, you know what? I started tweeting. I just kept on tweeting, and I just sent one before we got on, before we got live today. You know what? I never knew that any of this would get to where it is now, right? Like I remember when I started, I was like, if I could have 1,000 followers, that'd be pretty cool. Like it would just be cool to see that name. And now we're at like 24,000 some. And I'm really thankful that I found a place that I can just talk Browns all the time and people never get sick of it. So being here and doing this is everything I could ask for. And that's a really short tidbit. I honestly, I'm not sure what the secret to it is. I'm glad to do it. You're right when you're saying it's a labor of love. So I think we all do it for that reason. And I'm just glad to have the opportunity.
24.3 thousand.
Okay.
That's what I wasn't being rude. I was helping you in your case, Like don't shortchange yourself for 24, man. You know how long it takes some people to get 300?
I get it, man. We
all
start from zero, right?
Watch 30 of their tweets and you'll realize like it is a gift that they have 200, but no. So well, like I was saying in the introduction there, it is truly a hell of a time to be alive as a Browns fan, a Cleveland fan in general. Guardians, they kind of went under the radar and just took this like one of the youngest teams, if not the youngest team in baseball, with like a legendary manager like Tito and two leaders in Bieber. You got the pitching room leader in Bieber, and you got your offensive leader in Ramirez already. Like, and his team has just played pissed off all year. No one's even really talking about him. And then the Cavs were already good, and then they give up basically Laurie Markkanen, who I've already forgot about, and we get Donovan Mitchell, in as well. So I mean, I just wish we had more sports teams at this point because we'd probably be good at that too.
You know what? It's about time. Honestly, like it's been a struggle for the majority, especially with the Browns. I mean, that's no secret. I've got the Guardians on right now. Actually, we're in the top of the second inning. We're in Cleveland tonight, and it's been so much fun to see all of this come to fruition. Because if there's one thing I could say is that Cleveland fans are passionate like few fan bases are, and I think we've collectively been waiting to be good. And that's the weird thing. It's like I feel like a lot of cities have eras where the majority of their teams are good, and it has been a while in Cleveland since that's happened. So I think that whole thing is just because, I mean, the Guardians are the youngest team in the MLB. The Cavs are one of the youngest teams in the NBA. The Browns are still waiting on Deshaun. So it's kind of like we know good things are coming, and especially with the Guardians just winning the division. So we'll see how the playoffs go. But we haven't had that true ascension to, like, say, consistent playoff team, that type of, like, your aspiration is championship. And I think we are getting to a point where all three teams are going to say our aspiration is to win a championship. And that's really special.
And that's actually like a really good point I never really thought about. Like, overall, as a whole, we're still like the Browns are like by far the oldest team. And they're not even don't even have like an aging superstar yet. Like Ward, not in his prime. Garrett, in his prime, but still, I think he could get even better yet, which is scarier. That was scary to think about. Watson unknown. Mari Cooper probably in his prime, I guess. But I mean, we're talking about like the guys that we've drafted really high, invested a lot of capital in. Overall, really, really young. Even Teller, like really young on the line. Batonio, still a relatively young guy. Wills, like the whole offensive line is pretty solid. So that's a really good point because, we got not only this year, we got next year, what? The year after, what? Karns letting out a cough, what? Not veteran move with the mute mic, what? And then the list goes on and on. Sorry, man. I told you the show was stupid. No, I didn't tell you the show was stupid because you wouldn't have came on, so that's on me.
I'm glad to find out. I like some fun along the way there, Tony.
How about that, Karnsy? Look at you, Karnsy. I love it. So let's talk about game day, man. If you had to describe the Muni lot to somebody that's like, hey, I bought kick us to the Browns game. Like, where are we going? Like, someplace called the Muni lot. Like, what's that like? Go.
Okay. Well, so to put it in perspective, I remember for the home opener that we got reports that there were people lined up with their RVs, their buses, their all that stuff starting on Friday night. And the game was on Sunday. So if that puts a little perspective into people take it really seriously, right? I think that's first and foremost is that you are not going to go in the Muni lot. You are not going to find some kind of casual tailgate type atmosphere. It's
no soirees.
No, it's intense. It's rambunctious. Everybody's playing their music and cooking their favorite everything, and it's a really packed, condensed, but it's so much fun. People are really friendly. The Muni lot's nothing fancy, right? Like Cleveland, where you see is what you get. We're not super fancy, but it's a ton of fun. I think I don't want to lie about the total length of the Muni lot. I want to say it's 1.5 miles, maybe three. I know it's a big range there, but it's a lot to go from the start to the end. You're going to be walking a while, and you're going to find Browns fans all along the way, which is I think that's part of the fun is that, like, I've been to a bunch of away game stadiums, and their tailgating is more of an open type, like more of a square than it. Like the Muni lot's just a giant rectangle, right?
Yeah,
and I like it that way because to go anywhere really, you're walking past the two main. There's basically 2 aisles through it, and so you're going to go past every Browns fan, every tailgate, the whole thing. And I feel like that's a real, what's the word? It's just a very, it's a much more intense environment than
surreal.
Because everybody's so close to one another. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's not a whole lot of spreading out. Like we are packed in there like sardines, and that part to me is still. I was there for. Unfortunately, the Browns lost against the Jets, but the home opener itself was just like we got to the Muni lot at 6 a.m. and I felt like I was late on Sunday because people were just already going. The beer is flowing. The
people are already gone.
Yeah, like the music is blasting. It's 6 a.m. The game's at 1. And so I think that's something I've always had so much respect for is just, especially the weather gets bad and people are still out there just having such a good time. I feel like even though the Browns lost that game, I had so much fun. Like I see people that I went to high school with that I haven't seen in a decade. I've seen like there's so many friends that I've been able to make just because of the Muni lot. And so it's an event in itself, honestly. Like I know to some people, it might sound crazy to say, well, I'm going to go tailgate and then I'm not going to the game. But in Cleveland, all kinds of people will go to the Muni lot, spend the whole morning in the Muni lot, and then they'll walk to, wherever to go watch after. But they're coming for the actual tailgating experience of the Muni lot rather than which I think is more of a unique thing and special to very few fan bases. And that's probably my favorite part of all of it.
Yeah, because with like DirecTV, like going mobile and stuff, like a lot of people just go up there just to party, and they're like, everybody's like, oh, we're going to the game, like, oh, we're going to stay here and watch it. Beer's a lot more affordable out here.
Well, That is definitely true.
That or what we called seasoned battered vets. They're just like, listen, I'll just watch out here. Like, I have a feeling that I might need this whole cooler. So, but no. Also, I like to describe it to people. They're like, oh, is it really like? Oh, they act like they're hard. It's like it's not like it can't be that crazy. It's like the only thing I can tell you is every year there's like this annual news bulletin that goes around the area about dumping urine and feces into the drainage at the Muni lot. And I'm like, Cleveland Browns, baby. I was like, so don't sit there and come at us, like we're a bunch of foofy stuff. Just because we don't throw batteries at Santa Claus like Eagles fans, that doesn't mean that we can't be assholes, we can be assholes. I mean, we also saw some other pictures from home opener, which we're like, yep, that's what we're known for.
We had a lot of fun. There weren't many Jets fans there, but every time there was one that would walk by in the Muni lot, we obnoxiously booed them in like until they were out of our general vicinity, and it just. I mean, it's in good fun, but I think it's part of it, like
don't come to the Muni lot. I mean, you're asking for it. You're asking for it. Like I wouldn't go to the Steelers game decked out in like obnoxious Browns gear. Like I wouldn't. Like you're asking for it. So, like I'm a fan. Like I mean, good for you. Like you're tougher than me.
I go to one away game a year with a group of 10, and
that would be different. That'd be different.
Yes. However, our first away game we went to, it's been almost a decade now, so it was a while. But basically, it was we went to Pittsburgh, and it was like most Pittsburgh Browns games from that era, and it was bad. And we had quite a few peanuts thrown at us from wherever, and I mean, and like they heckled us some, but honestly, I felt like that was pretty light because because it was like the Browns were just getting like by halftime. It was one of those games where by halftime it was over and you knew it.
Yeah,
and was just crushing us,
and they're just like, "Come on, guys!" Like it's not even.
But it was pretty tame. So my point to say is it could be. I'm sure it would be. You know what? But I agree with you, Tony. Like if I went, say it was just me and a friend, and we go and I'm decked out in Browns gear. I know that like. I know what's gonna, and it's the same thing with Cleveland, right? I mean, that's what it's about.
Yeah, that's what fan bases in general are nuts. I mean, like everyone's got their diehards, and there's a reason they are like known for their fandom because they are just on a whole different level of like entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, like we got Pumpkinhead. No, we got some of the. We got like an elf, a dog, a pumpkin. I mean. We are definitely 2022 because we identify as anything we want, and we are still the Browns. Hey,
we play on Halloween again, so I mean the pumpkin, the dog, and the elf all line up pretty well with that.
I'm excited, man. Yeah, we could instead of like the race, like the mustard, the ketchup, and the Burtmans, like we could have like the elf, the dog, and the pumpkin. Yeah.
Now that would be halftime entertainment. I'll tell you.
I mean, if the Browns are watching, which they probably are, because I don't think they miss a show. They're probably still like telling like Wyatt, like tell her like, come on, man, like why the hell did you go on there? Like you got to check with us before you do these things, man. Like
you had Wyatt Teller on, Tony,
and Carly. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Great, man. I'm following some really. Elite company that these guests you got going. Wow, good for you, man.
Yeah, you're following Dale McCutcheon. He was last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, hey, they feel bad for me. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I mean,
again, zero research. Like, oh, cool. Like, that was really nice. Like, oh, look how small he is. Let's help him. But no, man, it's awesome. This Talking Cleveland Tuesday has been quite the fun little passion project for me. I got enough going on, but this one was like, let's have some fun. Let's talk Cleveland. I want to get more involved in Cleveland sports. When you get kids, man, it's a lot of Disney Plus.
Okay,
so this was my excuse to just dive really deep into Cleveland. So Muni lot. There's tailgates. You said everyone's cooking their favorite stuff, man. Nick, let's dive into it, man. I'm a big foodie guy. I'm rocking my Ghost Fire grills here.
Okay.
shirt. You know, we're throwing sticks. You know, you're coming down to the Dude Network headquarters, man. We got barbecue, anything you want. I was like, Karns, you pick it, I make it, man. What do we have me make?
There is something about brisket that I just cannot get away from on football day, on Sunday. I can't. You know what? I'm a sucker for sauce. So when I saw you put the branch as a sponsor up there, I couldn't get enough of their. I was having a grand old time testing out different ones, and Chris was really cool to me about that. But I just so brisket goes so well with any. I mean, if you like the honey mustard, and you were talking about some kind of. I don't think it was stadium mustard, but it was
the field house.
Yeah. So
Dude,
I got to try that. That sounds.
It got second place in the national mustard contest out of like 5,000 entries or something crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it got silver. Yeah, it's like a big deal.
Okay. You know, somebody said to me the other day, we were just talking about like different ballparks and baseball teams and that kind of thing. But somebody said to me that stadium mustard like isn't a thing all around the country or like
it's not.
See, I never even, you know what? So like when you're talking about like Cleveland, what does Cleveland do and the flavors and that kind of thing, I didn't even realize that was unique to us.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So I'll tell you what, because we did, I know he had the Fieldhouse mustard, but, and I put it along the same, is stadium mustard and the Fieldhouse mustard, are they similar?
No.
The
stadium mustard is like a brown.
Okay.
Like Burtman's is brown, and this is like a Dijon yellow mustard.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because Cleveland's like a brat town, you know. It's like pierogies, kielbasi, Polish sausage.
Yeah.
Like go to like Little Italy, get like capicola. You know, we're known for our like corned beef sandwiches. You know, like Then you go like where I'm at. I'm coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, cool.
Cannot find a good corn just tonight. I'm in some random hotel room. But yeah, there's like couldn't find a corned beef sandwich here if I wanted to, you know.
Really?
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Definitely get no Burtman's.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's another reason why the Colts suck because they don't have such nice things. And you know, I heard that Stephen Kwan takes a shot of Fieldhouse mustard before every at bat. Just the rumor on the street.
Wow. The more you know.
You know, just then you think you know a guy. You know?
Yeah. But you know what? Going back to what you said, so aside from brisket, I'd take bratwurst any day, anytime, all the time. If I had some available to me right now, I'd be chomping.
So how you topping it, man? What's Karns putting on his brat?
You know what? I'm a big onion and pepper guy. I love both. I don't know. I'm not sure why I got adventurous one day. I used to be really boring, and I would just put maybe some mustard, maybe I guess it would depend. I'm just on bratwurst, but I've expanded, and now if there's onions, if there's peppers, I'm doing that. And I'm not picky about sauce. I just need to have it. What's available to me. I'm not a snob about it. It needs to be saucy all the time. Saucy is the way I'm going.
I love it though. All right. So yeah, you're dunking it in the sauce. Yeah. The sauce is the boss. I love it. Oh
what
man,
about you, Tony? What's your game day food?
Dude, I make these things called like dude witches. I just like a massive sandwich that's like this epic creation that's got like 6 different flavors going on. Whoa. Like peppers, like fried egg, a burger, like a cheese, like a provolone or a mozzarella, then like your lettuce, your tomato, your sauce. Then maybe put like a little bit of drop of like hot sauce in there so it kicks you in the ass on the tail end of it. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Just a fucking mess. Just everywhere. That's what I want. I want so much burger on my face and in my beard when I'm done that I still got a little bit left over for the third quarter. You know? That's me. Like just a big old burger. Like I love brisket. Like I make a good brisket, pulled pork. I make good ribs. But man, there's just something about a big fat burger that because you can just do so much with it. Yeah,
My mouth's not watering right now or anything.
not at all. Nope. That is the dude. That's called dude food, man. You've been baptized.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what? It's hard to be upset, no matter, regardless of outcome. It's hard to be upset if you got something like that.
Yeah, it's called comfort food, man. Because we need it. We have a lot of things that we need to be comforted over. So, all right, man. Like Cleveland fan base in general, like people, like someone came in. I remember, like it was like the Buckeyes lost and the Browns lost the same weekend, and someone flew in from like Wisconsin, and they're like a big Badgers fan, and they're like, we had to go to Cleveland. And they're like, man, I promise I won't bring anything up about like the Buckeyes game. I'm like, oh, dude, you're bringing up all over. I was like, but if you bring up the Browns game, I was like, you're going to piss some people off. You know, I was like, it's Monday. I was like, we don't talk about the Browns after a loss on Monday. And like, he went there, he didn't believe me. And he was like, yeah, like I was told that you guys would be more upset than the Browns. Would be like, hey, like, come on. He's like, look at me. He's like, holy shit. And I was like, dude, like only in Cleveland. Anywhere outside of Cleveland, you're back in the Buckeyes country. I was like, but Cleveland, you know, but like describe Cleveland fans and like just like how thirsty. I think they're just like a lot of stubbornness at this point because no one wants to leave them. Like we always like look to the future, but like the future is like finally like kind of close to being here. Like there's no way we have like this much goodness going on where like it all fall. I just had to say it, but like more than likely it wouldn't all come crashing down. But like, do you think Cleveland fans are so loyal to the point where they can't quit because they don't want to be the ones that quit right before they got better, and they don't want to be the guys that be the bandwagon jumpers? Do you think it's like just stubbornness?
Well, to answer your question, I'll tell you a story. I remember when the Browns went 0-16, and every week I just would say I have a good friend. He's a Detroit fan. And so, you know, he's in the same suffering boat with us. But, you know, we love talking sports. And I remember I'd come into work every day and I'd be like, they're not going to lose all the games. Like they'll win one. They'll find a way. And you know, it was just like a weekly conversation. And I remember every week, you know, I'd still be coming in wearing my Browns gear. Like, and at one point, it just kind of became a badge of honor for me. It was like, I know they suck. Whoever is looking at me wearing Browns gear knows that they suck. And we're just going to nod our head in agreement that, you know, and I remember, so after that year, we went to the 0-16 parade. And
you actually went? That's funny.
Yeah. Oh my God. So the wind chill was negative that day.
We'll circle back to that because I don't want you to not finish your story here, but I do want to talk about that parade.
Yes. What I'm trying to say with all that, actually, it's negative in the wind chills that day. The lake's frozen. It's just tundra, frigid nonsense, terrible because the stadium's right on the lake, you know. So we're doing the parade around the stadium, and I think I speak for a lot of Browns fans and a lot of Browns fans that were there that they would rather get together and yell about the team than they would give up on them. Like that's just the way. Like there was never a thought to me that I was going to give up on being a Browns fan. I just kept wearing my gear like a badge of honor, and I went to the 0-16 parade. I never felt so good after that. We just yelled and got all our frustration out together, and we're like, "Well, we'll see you next year." You know, like that's just how it works, man. I don't know why. It's just this is all I've ever known. I'm 32 now. My first memory of Cleveland sports was losing the 1997 World Series. I don't know. I was baptized by that, and it's been here with. Thank God for 2016. Thank God. Well, and the Browns went 0-16.
What's funny is I'm like 36. My first memory was the Browns beating the Patriots in the playoffs, but my first Indians memory was the Indians losing to the Braves. So I got to do 2 World Series at a very young age.
Oh man. And you're still here, Tony. Look at you.
Yeah. Tony Fernandez. Thanks, Dick. Like, yeah. If you're watching, you are not invited. Like, I'll get like a name request. And I'll be like, yeah, like let's do this. Like let's get this over with.
So, I think. I mean, that speaks to you too, right? Like you've been through it. You've been through the, and so but we're both still here. I don't know. There was never a thought or an option to leave. I don't know. I have the Guardians on right now. I can't. There's no quit here. I just.
I mean, I want. I told him, I was like, listen, I don't. Do you think I want this? Like, I don't want this. Like, I hate it. Like, but it is what it is. I mean, yeah, I remember like when we've been together for only like 6 years. So she came in during the 1-15, 0-16 era, and she hates sports. Like, not a big. Well, she doesn't hate it. She's just not a loves live games, doesn't follow.
Okay.
And like, so she got me at my worst. I mean, like, she got it at the worst. And whenever the chains fell off, I mean, I'm just like this hairy dude dancing in my shorts, and she's like recording it and sending it out, and it was like not fake, like it was pure bliss. When we beat the Jets, and the chains fell off the Bud Light coolers, like that was like we really relish our happy days.
Yep.
And that's what's fun about the Browns, like, and like Cleveland sports is I think we appreciate. We don't take any of our good moments for granted. You know what I mean? Like, we have never not celebrated any. I mean, it was the NBA. Like, name one other NBA town that's going to bring in 1 million people for a championship parade. You know?
I don't know another one. I don't.
Imagine if the Browns. Imagine if the Guardians, man. Imagine the World Series.
I'll tell you my biggest Cleveland sports regret. When the Cavs were down, the Cavs were facing elimination, and I had something going on that night. And normally I would have like moved my life for Game 5, and I just couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to be in that scenario where they got eliminated again. So I just went and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna, because I had been watching and they've been losing. I mean, obviously, I was watching, but I did not watch Game 5 live because I just was so afraid of getting my heart broken. And it's my biggest regret because that's like obviously when it all changed. And I was listening to it on the radio, but like I didn't watch it, you know, like see it. And I regret not like devoting and watching it on TV so much because I just you talk about that, cherishing those moments, and obviously championships have not happened often in recent decades. So that I don't know why I went down that road, Tony. But
that's all right, man. Hey, we all have regrets.
Yeah,
we all regrets. Like, I regret not knowing my schedule. You know, when I like tonight. You know, no, but hey, man, I you know what? That's actually like a really good. Do I have any? I just wish I wouldn't have taken some. I will say I just got to go on a rant. Like, we don't really take things for granted. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've taken Tito Francona's era here for granted. I have not watched nearly enough of masterful managed baseball. Like, some of the best, cleanest baseball we'll ever get as like Cleveland fans. After he's gone, it'll be like, because there's not too many dudes that wanted to come here with his pedigree. Like, Tito wanted that. Like, he wanted the Cleveland job. He left a cushy ESPN job, and he said that was the only job that was getting me out of the booth, just because his dad like played there. You know, like they weren't even from Cleveland. It was like his like earliest clubhouse memories or something.
Like, he's made the Tito's teams have made the playoffs 6 out of the last 10 years. Like, that is a historically good run. And I know they didn't get a World Series out of it.
With nothing. Like, it's amazing that we've even made it, you know, because, like, let's just face it, Guardians are built up to where if we have a bad year of injuries, we're done. Like, last year, injuries bit us heavy. White Dot starting rotation, that was a strong point. Season was dead. And, you know, this year, Bieber healthy all year. Jose healthy all year. Bullpen, like, didn't fall apart. Clase has been lights out, or bullpen's lights out. You know, so, like, it's been luck. But it works, you know. Like, we still could have made the playoffs without a couple of those guys. Mm-hmm. But Tito's done so much with like nothing, with like less than a shoestring budget. He's got like Crocs budget that are like on sale at a yard sale, you know. But like, I think that's my regret, just not taking more advantage of watching Tito do his thing. Now, I haven't missed the playoff game, and I've kept track, but like, yeah, I could have watched so many just, especially this year, like 30 come from behind victories. Like, you could have got so many, like, holy shit. Do you remember the year of 2022 when they had 30 come from behind last at bat victories is what it is. Last at bat victories. So, yeah, it's a hell of a time to be alive, man. But hey, Nick, let's real quick here, man. We got a big one this weekend, real big one. I have this really weird feeling that they're going to tease us with a big game here this weekend. We've been underperforming. We got a team coming to town. I think we could be that team that plays their opponent, and they know this is a really good opponent coming in. Hopefully, we get a lot of our defensive line back. We get Clowney and Garrett, or one or the other, or both. I want to hear your prediction on this. I kind of led where I think this might go, but I want to hear your take on it and your super professional, opinion here, Karns.
Well, I will say, so the away game I went to last year was LA, so I was there for that debacle. But to the Browns' credit,
so many.
That was not a fun walk out of the stadium. Yes. To the Browns' credit, though, they did play the Chargers really well the last time. Right. David Njoku went off. Nick Chubb went off. The offense had a really good day. Probably Baker's last, truly good performance as a Brown. And they were so close. They were so close then. I think the Chargers are dealing with a lot of injuries. I know that the Browns probably at this point can't keep up with them in a shootout. But I do think that their backs are up against the wall. Traditionally, Kevin Stefanski-led teams come off well from losses. The Browns are really good in games after losses. And they're at home. They desperately need it. And I think it could be an opportunity where the Chargers are coming off a win. They're traveling across the country. That's not easy. I could see the Browns winning this game. I'm not going to – I can't guarantee it, but I definitely could see the way. The Chargers still can't stop the run. They just lost – Joey Bosa for a significant amount of time. So could Nick Chubb just
hate to hear it?
Yeah, I know. I hope he heals well. You never wish injuries on anybody. It does.
No,
it works out for the Browns, but
you don't get mad when it happens right before the Browns, though.
Yeah. So and Justin Herbert's not 100% either. So there's a recipe there. There's a recipe, Tony.
There's
talking about cooking.
A recipe. No, you said Herbert's hurt. They're without Lindsley, their center. The heart and soul of the offensive line is the center. They're already on their second string of that. Our defensive line is a strong point. Get some pressure on Herbert. You never know. But I think it's time for the secondary to do something, to not have these big blown coverages that – I understand an assignment and this underneath, but no big plays this Sunday. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm hoping. I'm thinking this is the Sunday where the Browns secondary finally just cuts off the bad fourth quarter implosion plays to let a team in it.
I like it.
I think for that,
I like the way you think, Tony.
The Browns are due to put up a good defensive showing, I think, top to bottom. And I think this is a good opportunity. And this is where, like I said, they come off losses, and 3-2 sounds pretty damn solid. Vegas is expecting this to be a close game, only a 3-point line. So they're thinking the Chargers are a 6-point better team, equal on a neutral field. So I always listen to what Vegas says. Everyone's expecting this to be a blowout, but Vegas is thinking this is going to be a close game. And I always listen to what Vegas is saying with the line. And I feel like they're trying to bait people to take the Chargers because they have this feeling that the Browns are going to win this game. And that's Tony's made-up, justified logic. Uneducated.
I like it.
Hey, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Hey, where are you at on Stefanski?
So I don't think he deserves the fire that some people are giving him. I don't think he should give up play calling.
That's ridiculous.
But I'm does he make perfect decisions? Certainly not. And yes, I know he definitely could have called a better game than he did. But I think when you consider that Jacoby Brissett is a career backup and the Browns entering my favorite stat of the season thus far is entering the game against the Falcons. The Falcons and the Browns were the only two teams in the NFL to score 26 or more the first 3 weeks of the season. Nick Chubb has been leading the league in rushing. He just fell behind Saquon Barkley. He's been leading the league in rushing touchdowns. The Browns have so many good pieces to this offense. Amari Cooper had 200-yard games with a touchdown for the first time for a Browns receiver in back-to-back games since Josh Gordon in 2013. It's been a lot. There's a lot of good offense happening. It just the Browns and I'm not saying the offense has been perfect, but the defense and the special teams have been abysmal. Oh Lord,
the Jeremy Grant loss was critical, man. The Jeremy Grant loss was critical. I was at training camp before it happened, like 2 days before it happened. And like he was the dude that was just turning heads. Like it was so maddening to hear that because I was like, I watched firsthand. You heard the rave about him, then you watch him. I'm like, who's that dude? Like out there cutting and like making people look stupid in the NFL uniform. I'm like, oh, that's that Jeremy Grant guy. I'm like, I like it.
Yeah.
So that one like really hurt. Here's my take on Stefanski. I don't think he's a lot to blame. I think there are rules that he has to play by. Because there are common trends amongst Cleveland coaches, and that seems to be a lot of coaches seem to be chasing the damn points. And I really think that comes from upstairs. I think the play calling and design, I think that also has to be approved by people upstairs. And I think Stefanski gets paid a lot of money to fall on the sword for what comes from upstairs. I think that's my opinion. If you think about it, man, there's been consistency of us chasing points from the Jackson era to the Kitchens era. And I was like, oh, we're aggressive. I think that is an analytical thing because you don't go through 3 coaching changes with the same front office like Pete DePodesta and still do the same damn things. I have questions. That's my
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Hey. I smoked a lot of drugs in college, man, but I still got some shit left in my brain.
I have heard that theory floated out that maybe Stefanski doesn't make all the decisions as he says he does. I don't know what to think about that, honestly. Interesting things happen and come out when you lose. And I don't feel like near the questioning happens when you win. So as we go down this road of the season, I guess we're going to see where it all ends up. I feel like, if they win, there won't be this type of like, who's making the decisions, who's not, but if they keep losing, and I hope they don't, but we all do hope they don't, but we'll see. It's because some people say Stefanski seat's hot. I don't know. That's scary to me.
Was the coach of the year 18 months ago. And here we are. Browns, baby, Browns. This is the most Browns conversation ever.
Yes, it is. And so I could see why with Cleveland's tradition of just firing coaches and getting new ones, I could see why people would think that. However, I'd like to point out that if the Browns moved on from Kevin Stefanski, let's just say in 4 more weeks, the Browns, they go 0-4 the next 4 weeks, they fire Kevin Stefanski. I don't think that they can reasonably do that because Deshaun Watson has learned the Stefanski scheme. And yes, he'll be back in the building, but there's no way to install a new offense with when Deshaun Watson comes back with the limited time you have. Or at least I don't see anyway. So at worst, if things really went off the rails, I would assume that Stefanski gets this season. And that's like doomsday. I don't even want to go there. But, some people are talking about it, so I guess it's worth mentioning.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm glad you came on because this just shows Browns. This is a real Browns conversation. This is what we sit around the water cooler and coffee pot on Monday morning as we're hungover from the muni lot trying to figure out life's problems, which is normally a tough one. But also we're talking about a lot of negative. To finish this out, last thought, on a scale of 1 to 10, how great of a week Monday through Saturday is the next week after a Browns Sunday win?
Oh man, that would be so much.
The whole week.
You know what? everybody has this game or had this game as a loss entering with Jacoby Brissett. So if the Browns win, and that's what they have to do right now, right? Because the Browns lost some games that they were supposed to win, right? They're favored. They should have won. We can agree on that. So now you have to win a game or two that you were supposed to lose. And what better time to start? It would beating Justin Herbert, beating the next prodigy as they call him, with Jacoby Brissett, and a defense as maybe Miles and Jadavian come back. Oh, there's so much to like there. There's so much to like there. And if Miles is back, Miles is one sack away from setting the Browns' new all-time sack record. He could do that at home.
Stupid. Like, he's gonna have that record untouchable for time. Like, no defensive end's gonna ever want to come play here because they just know they're never gonna have the record.
Right. And
that's how dumb the record's gonna end up being.
Yeah. So it would be so much fun. You know what? Last Thursday feels like an eternity ago, but when the Browns did beat the Steelers, like that was it was party time on Twitter, in real life, everywhere.
What was great about that is we got like an extra 3 days of celebration because we had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We were just like feet kicked up, like, you bastards, enjoy your day.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be drinking my Busch Light all by myself. Woo.
Hey, you know what? There is nothing that makes the Monday after the Monday of the week easier than a Browns win.
No. I mean, I remember as a kid, before my dad gave up on the Browns, like that, like when they lost, I was like, God, it's gonna be a long week. It's gonna be a long week with Dad. Like, he's gonna be in a grump. He'd be a grump. But after they won, I'm like, it's gonna be hard. I'm all jacked up, man. I'm like, Browns won. It's gonna be a good week at school. Good week of football practice. A good week with Dad, man, Mom. Everyone's gonna be happy. Browns won. Like, life is good, man. Hey, we live and die by Brownie the Elf, but we love that guy. We love him. Hey, I love that you came on here, man. Thanks for sharing your awesome Browns brain here with us.
Sure.
Having you on, just getting a Browns hardcore diehard on here to just talk about life as a Cleveland sports fan. You fit that bill exactly, man. I appreciate it. Any last words here before we get out of here, man? The floor is yours.
You know what, Tony, I want to say thank you. I so appreciate the opportunity that somebody wants to hear what I have to say. I just getting to talk to you, getting to know you. I love that. That's what it's all about. I love making friends, and like the Browns are so much more than just a team to me. And I sharing it with special people such as yourself is what makes it. It's truly. You ask why people can't quit. I think it's not only for the team, but it's because of all the great people that they share it with in their life. Like I know you said that your dad gave up on the Browns, but I'm willing to bet somebody in your family, somebody you just talk about the Browns with them to this day.
He says he gives up, but he always knows a lot about the games after they happened.
Funny how that goes.
It's funny, yeah. Even though he doesn't even know how to operate a cell phone, but yeah, he knows how to learn about what happened in the Browns game.
My old man's the same way. He said he was like, I'm giving up on the Browns. But he called me this morning breaking down the Atlanta game and all the things he's upset about. So it's just
they earn it though. Like, if you want to come back when we're good, like, you've put in your time. Like, come on back. We'll hold it. We'll keep the door open for you. Like, there's some people like, we'll let them come back. Like, we'll let them come back. There's like, listen, we're going into hibernation. Let us know when it's over. But
on that, you know what? On that note, I just want to say anybody that has listened this long, Tony and I, we both appreciate you. Give him a follow. Tony's great. If you don't know Tony, I hope I help bring people to you because you have a great show. I love this. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Hey, I know it went a little bit long. Conversation was great. Only meant to be a half hour. Sorry about that. But hey, we appreciate everybody. We appreciate you. And go dudes, go dudettes, and go Browns. Dog check. Oof.